All right, cool. It's time. Let's get rolling. Let me adjust my camera here so it looks flattering. There we go. That's better. Hey, everybody. How you doing? I see a lot of names I don't recognize. That's cool. If you don't know me and if we've never talked before, my name's Chris, and I'm a marketing manager for Planetar. I've done a lot of different things for Planetar. I was a photographer and a technical trainer. So I have a lot of experience with a lot of different things. So what that means, and don't abuse this, but feel free if you want, is that if you want to ask questions in this webinar that aren't specifically related to the topic at hand, I don't mind. You can ask me whatever you want, camera ones or whatever comes to mind. The goal for today's webinar is to talk for about 30 minutes or so. I've got a hard stop in about 50 minutes, so I won't be able to jabber on for too long. But what we're going to do today is go through the technical update process, and I'm going to describe what that means. So if you're new, this is good stuff. It's important stuff. It's not super sexy stuff, to be honest. It's not that exciting. It depends on what you find exciting. Aloha, that's awesome. Hey, Bernie. The technical update process is a little bit like dry. It's like a need to know information system. So what that means is it's like, when you're like, your agreements are up for like your bank account or something or credit card, and they send you that like giant envelope with like 50 pages in it, and you should read it, but you're like, oh, I'll get to that later, and you throw it in a drawer. It's like one of those things, but you shouldn't throw it in a drawer. You should read the whole thing. But to make your lives a little easier, I'm just going to walk you through some of them so that you don't necessarily have to go back and look through it yourself. And I'll help you hopefully understand them. So if you have questions, put them in the chat. I'll answer them as they come up if I can remember to do it, or put them in the designated Q&A section. Zoom is cool like that. They have a thing specifically for that. Anyway, do whatever you want. I'm easy. To start things off, though, I want to kind of talk about, what a technical update is. In case you don't know. So if you're new and you've never got one before, well, you would have got one today because one was sent today. So everyone should technically have one. It wasn't strictly speaking planned that way. It just worked out. So that's kind of cool. So if you check your email, you're going to see that there will be something from Iguide that says, technical update, and it has like a number. So all the technical updates are numbered, and they're essentially like a communication, or an email, but also that there's an attached PDF because they're archived as well. And in that communication, it's going to talk about things that are like that you need to know. They're not sort of marketing things. They're very much technical need to know things, and those often relate to changes in our service or things that affect pricing for today. That's something, and then some other technical things that have changed. And sometimes delivery status notifications, all sorts of stuff, but it's very need to know. It's very dry stuff. It's not meant to get you super excited. You're free to get as excited as you want about these things. Some things are more important than others. Like we sent out a technical update once, and we might even come across it today. We'll go through a few of them where we changed the name was changed from master bedroom to primary. The industry was kind of moving in that direction, and we decided that we would make that change. Some people didn't care, other people thought it was awesome. So there you go. That's kind of cool. So what I'm going to do is share my screen with you and walk you through where to find the technical updates. So typically technical updates are, like I said, going to appear in your email. They're sent on an as needed basis. So it's not like they're regular intervals. It doesn't come every month or every 2 weeks. They're just kind of whenever they need to be sent, they get sent. And they're sent to whatever email you have your portal account registered on. So if you're on the Iguide user portal and you're submitting data, we have that email, and that's where we send it because we know that that is important. So if you're not getting them for some reason and you want to, that could be why. It could be that the email that you signed up with isn't one you routinely check. And this happens sometimes, especially when people are new. They don't know what email they should use for the Iguide portal, and then they pick one that they don't frequently check, and then it doesn't really affect anything. You just log in with it, right? So if you're not getting them, that might be something to consider. The way you would update that email is by contacting support and just saying, hey, I'm not getting the tech updates, what's going on? And they'll help you out. But either way, it's an email. If you're not getting them, it doesn't really matter because you can find them on the Iguide user portal whenever you want in the technical update archive. So that archive, which I'll show you in a moment, is a place where all of the technical updates are all listed for you. And they're all just PDF documents, and you can click on them and you can view them and just enjoy them, digest them if you like. So what I'll do is I'll open it up now, show you where to find them, and then we'll go through, the last 2 or 3, we'll say. And hopefully that doesn't take too long. And what I'm going to do now is share my screen with you. I'm going to do a window, share. Okay, I feel like this is working, maybe. No, did I break it? All right, how about now? Can you guys see that? Maybe you can see it. I don't know, it's blinking. I forgot that this was the thing. Okay, I think this is working. You guys let me know in the chat. Can you see my screen? I see replies. I lost my chat window. Didn't work either. I lost you guys. I know you're there somewhere. There we go. Glitchy, but yes. All right, you know what? Glitchy will do. It's tech updates. It's not, there's no fancy animations here. It's pretty dry. Like I said, I'm not selling it. I should tell you, it's super exciting. It's the most exciting thing you're going to see today, okay? Tech updates. Either way, when you go to the Iguide user portal, if you click on support in the top, like on the menu bar, you've got create Iguide, my Iguides, blah, blah, blah. Support will be there. You click it, and then you're going to get a list of stuff. And one of those things is the technical update archive. So when clicked, you will see a list of all the technical updates. It's very exciting. So the one that was sent today isn't here, but I've loaded it up separately so we can, I can show you guys that one first. But these are all just clickable links. You can click on them and they're a PDF and you can read through it. It's pretty exciting. If you want to get an idea of like what these are before you click on them, there's actually some little like bullet points down here, like they're like sort of the headings and the items within each technical update are listed to make your lives easier. And what we found is that sometimes people want to know something a little bit like specific that they maybe read in one of these updates, and then they're kind of like, I remember reading this thing, but I didn't fully engage with it, so now I want to go back. So this is what this is for. You can come into this page and you can kind of scroll down and say, oh, that's right, there were my Iguide page improvements in November. I remember this now, and you can kind of go right to that particular PDF. And as we add them, there's a link in the email as well that says that will link directly to here. So if you want to just, make a coffee and hop in here and, read 3 or 4 in a go for it. I would, I probably wouldn't wait that long. They almost always contain like pretty important information. So I'd probably read them as they come, but hey, you do you. All right, so I'm going to load up one up. It's on my desktop here. But it's not in the window, so now I need to share it. Where's my Zoom controls? New share. How do I do that? Is this one? Okay, I'm trying again. Okay, so let me know in the chat if you can see this new screen. I'm just going to cross my fingers, please. Actually, I'll just keep talking in case I'm just waiting for you to put it in the chat. Okay, so today's technical update is pretty important. It has some really cool stuff in it. The first thing is that there has been a pricing update. So when I say update, it's so much better than that. It's a price reduction. So if you, hopefully you can see my screen right now. If you look down here, I mean, it explains it here, but I'll explain it for you. There has been a price reduction for any property essentially over 10,000 square feet. So, above 30,000 square feet. So at 30,000 square feet, the price drops to 0.011 cents. Is that USD? I don't know. If you go to the processing page or the calculators, we'll pick one for you. You can choose either USD or or Canadian funds or international. So what that means is that, hold on, loading up the chat window, give me a second here. There we go. Yes, okay, good, you can see me. So what that means is that if you do a property that's like, 37,000 square feet, there's going to be considerable savings at that size, because as you get into the bigger square footages, the prices go up and up and up. So the way this chart is laid out is that there are tiers, okay? Not tears of joy or sadness, tiers as in T-I-E-R-S, there you go. And it's a little bit misleading, so I'm going to try to explain a little bit, but really get in there and read it, and then you have to look at it for a bit to get this. It's complicated, I'm sorry. So up to 10,000 square feet, it's essentially, assuming this is US, 2 cents per square foot. So 2 cents per square foot. So you might think, well, why does it say $29? Well, there's a minimum fee of $29. So if you scanned this property that was like 800 square feet, you still pay 29 bucks. So that's why it starts with 29, but then it goes from 14.51 to 10,000 at 2 cents per square foot. But this is also, what I'm trying to get at is that that's also 2 cents per square foot. So once you get above 10,000 to 30,000, then you're paying $200 plus 0.015 cents per square foot. Okay, so that means that you pay 2 cents per square foot up to the 10,000, and then for any square footage over 10,000, between 10,000 and 30,000, you're paying that other rate. So this is very much like tax brackets. You get taxed at a certain percentage up to a certain amount of income, like $50,000, and then 50 to 70, you get taxed at a different rate. But it's not like as soon as you get to 55,000, they tax you for all your income at the new rate. It doesn't work that way. So that's the first one. And then the next one, there's a break at between 30,000 and 100,000. So that's why it says $500, is to start, right? That's up to 30,000. And then as you go up from there, it's going to be 0.011 cents per square foot up to 100,000. The savings in general work out to be between 5 and 20%. It really depends. Every property is different, and there's going to be a different discount. But that is a considerable amount, hundreds and hundreds of dollars on these larger properties. So it's a big deal. But the easiest way to use this information, obviously read the charts and really digest it and fully understand it. But if you just want a really quick answer, if you go to the calculator page, you click on it. In the calculator, it has this chart, but then you can just put in whatever square footage you want. So if you have a property coming up and it's, I don't know, 38,000 square feet, well, you don't need to do the math. That's too hard. Just go and put 38,000, enter, and it'll just show you the cost in Iguide Standard and Iguide Premium. So it's super easy. So, bookmark those because they're awesome. So yeah, new price break. What a thing to lead with, right? Reduce prices. Everybody likes that. Now, one of the cool things to go along with this is that larger properties tend to have more like data, so that just means more scans, just more, more data to send into the Iguide portal. And that has been a bit of a challenge up until today, because there were like limits on the amount of data you could send in. So you couldn't send in like a 4 gigabyte, stitch file. Well, those limits have been changed. So if I recall correctly, it's 20 gigs now, but let's just confirm that. So it's okay. The previous limit was 700 megabytes, which is still humongous. Like you could do a 50,000 square foot property and not get 700 megabytes, but okay, perfect. There you go. The new limit is now 20 gigabytes. 20 gigabytes is unbelievably massive. That's like 7 or 8 14-story apartment buildings. Like that's a lot. So, that should prevent any issues when you're uploading data. So there's a 1-2 punch. You get a price reduction on larger properties, and it is now also easier to upload larger properties. How cool is that? Okay, and then this last one, this won't affect any of you, but it's fun. It's fun to have a look at a little company history here. So if you look at this image, on the right is a camera that I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with, Planix. And then on the left is a previous generation. It would be 2 generations ago. So there's Planix, and then previous to that, IMS5, and then previous to that is IMS4. So IMS4 that's what it looks like. This image was actually my camera. I shot probably 500, 600 Iguides with that camera. It was super cool. Fun fact, that thing that sticks up at the top has laser emitters. That's what those little circle things are. And they shot out visible red lasers like on the walls when you're in the property. It was hysterical because people would flip out. They'd be like, oh no, should I leave the room? Do I need to wear safety glasses? And you'd say, oh yeah, you got to go wait in your car. Yeah. So that was always very entertaining. And it was very dramatic too, which is cool. The range of that system was like, oh man, like half of the IMS-5 and then a fraction of Planck. So we've come a long way. Anyway, long story short, because most of you probably don't care, the IMS-4 is reaching its sort of end of life. They won't be accepting any more data from it. So that's only important to, of the few people who are still using that camera. I don't know how many there are, but there's not many at this point. So there you go. If you've never seen a technical update before, that was your first one. How was it? It was exciting. I'm going to switch back now to my other screen. Oh, I see a question. There was a qualifier about uploading tar files, but I missed it. Could you explain that, please? Yeah, so tar files are essentially checked. What was referenced here is that, oh, here, actually, I'll share my screen again and show you guys because it'd probably be easier. I'll say I answered it live, yeah. That's the one. So I'm guessing you're talking about this. Oops. Okay, a little glitchy, no big deal. Ooh, it's still going. I'll just patiently wait for it to sort itself out, it's fine. Okay, I think that worked. So yeah, so the tar upload process is far more interesting and cool than you would think. So what I mean by that is that it's not like you just upload your data and that's it. You may have noticed, or you may not have noticed, that when you upload your data, it gives you some stats. It tells you like what, how many panels there are, I think, or how many scans, and it tells you the file size and a bunch of other stuff. So when you upload a tar file, this is specifically referring to the size, but that's obviously gone up. So if you look here, you can see that it's checked the size. So it's 748 megabytes. It won't allow it to be uploaded because the limit is 700. Well, the limit is gone. It's not gone. It's now 20 gigabytes, which is huge. But it gives you a little message. It says, hey, make sure you're trying to upload the right file. It can only be validated once it's been fully uploaded. So that validation process is like super cool. That's the cool thing I was talking about. So fun fact, when you upload a tar file, our system checks to see if that has already been uploaded. So it's a very common thing to have like 4 or 5 shoots in a day for some reason, right? A busy day, go out and you shoot 4 or 5. You're a high volume shooter, you shoot a lot, okay? And then when you get home, it's very common to be uploading those and being very, very tired. And when you're tired, you make mistakes. And so it's very common for people to upload the same tar file twice by accident, So they were supposed to upload 23 Green Street, but instead they uploaded 42 Condor Street. And you don't notice because you're so exhausted. It's like 2 a.m. and, you're hungry. And you got like 5 shoots the next day, so you just want to get it done. So the portal will check that, and it will check to see if that property is already there, if it's a duplicate, and it will check to see like what firmware you're using and a few other things. So it can give you like warnings about stuff. So in this yellow area, you're going to often see relevant information. Whoop. You guys back? Did I glitch it out again? Yeah, it's glitching a little. We'll just wait. Okay. I think it's working again. It doesn't matter. Either way, that yellow area often has really critical, important information. So when you see that come up, don't ignore it. It's a good thing. Those are need to know things, just like technical updates. I'm gonna stop sharing now. Oh, okay. Okay, crashed my monitor too. This is fun. Okay, well, we're gonna roll with it. Life wouldn't be any fun if it was easy, right? Okay. Actually, you know what? I mean, yeah, my monitor did crash, but it probably worked better now. It's still recording. It'll be fun to see in the recording later. So you guys can't see what I'm seeing. I assume you can still hear me, but like my screens are like flashing, and you know, there's like all this dinging. You know, the sound when like a USB device like turns off and on. That's what I'm getting. It's like the ding, the ding, the ding. So something's happening. It's a mystery. Anywho, what I'm going to try to do now is find my controls. I don't know where they went. There we go. I got another Q&A. I have an old Iguide taken on IMS 5, but needs some panos updated. Can the planets camera be used to create updated panos? That's a good question. That's going to be a challenge. So I'm going to say initially probably not, because there's going to be some issues. Let me think this through for a second. Hold on. Okay, you're going to have to contact support and ask them. But I think if you were to do that, I think there might be some challenges, but they might be able to be overcome. So I'll give you an example. You want to update any iGuide, you're going to go out and shoot totally new data, you know, and then you're going to, you know, zip it up and send it off to the drafts people and say, hey, I'd like you to update this, you know, property. And they're going to say, okay. And I mean, they'll just tell you if they can or not. But if you want to ask ahead of time, you could create a support ticket and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Should I? And I think they're going to say, yes, you can. But it's going to affect the on-screen measurement in some cases because the cameras are fairly different, you know, in the way they capture data. I could be wrong. You're going to have to check on that. Yeah, create a support ticket and ask before you go ahead and do a reshoot. That's a good idea. I'm going to say I answered that live. There we go. 2 questions down. We're crushing this today. Okay, so I'm going to try to share my screen again. See how that goes. I've lost my browser as well. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, look, I got this. Hold on. Share screen. Sure, let's share Chrome. Is this working? I feel like it's kind of working. No, it's doing that flashing thing again. Okay, I'm just going to let it settle down. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. And then rather than load it up on screen, I'll just walk you through it. Okay, this looks like it's sort of working. All right, we're not going to push it. I'm just going to walk you through the bullet points of some of this stuff. Okay, tech. Hey, you guys still here? Looks like you are. I have no idea what happened there. My whole computer just crashed. Okay, well, I'm probably just going to talk and stop doing the screen sharing for a bit. Yay, I mean, I made it. I survived. That was weird. I've always had issues when I do webinars. Like I've had the power go out. I've had my internet literally fail. Now, we did have a fence installed and they did hit the cable line that one time. So that's on me because I thought that might happen. Oh, well, I don't know. I'm having a weird graphics issue with my laptop. Either way, what I'm going to do, okay, is I'm not going to push it. I'm just going to walk you guys through technical updates and then let you guys ask questions for the next 10 minutes. The technical update archive. So we talked about pricing. We got that. There was an issue where Planix cameras could potentially lose data. So there was a firmware update of some sort. It's all detailed in the technical update number 19 from April. So if you want, you should go have a look at that. That one's pretty coll. I would show it to you if it wouldn't break the whole internet. Let's see. Rare USB drive loss, data loss issue. All you have to do is update your firmware and that should help you out. In addition, there have been some improvements to the we call it the My iGuides page. So when you're on the My iGuides page, you're basically on a search page. You know, like it allows you to search all your iGuides. When you only have a few, it's not really a problem. You know, it's not hard to search through. But as you get more and more, it can get more challenging. So it's nice to have some extra features to allow you to search. And there's been a lot of extra things added there. Like there's an advanced search button that you can click on, and it gives you all sorts of extra abilities to search from. So that's very cool. Actually, my favorite, My iGuides search edition, because I have a favorite, is when they added the like red box around the data, around the iGuide entry on that page to show that you haven't uploaded any data yet. Because when you've shot a bunch of properties and you're really tired and you upload them all, sometimes you forget if you've uploaded or not. Like you just did 5 and then you think, wait, did I do this one? So then you have to go back and check them all, which sucks. So it's nice that that red thing is there because then you can instantly see sorry, the red box, whether or not you've uploaded data. So that's pretty cool. All right, what's the next one? So that was April. So in March, there was one. And in March, we announced iGuide tags, if I recall correctly. Just waiting for it to load. iGuide tags is a big deal. If you haven't seen iGuide tags, it's pretty cool. You can go, it's free. It's awesome. You can add tags into any iGuide you want. You can put them in 3D space. You can attach them to stuff. I did a whole webinar on it. I forget when, but definitely on the website somewhere. And if you see the tag editor, button there, you can click that and you can go right into the tag editor for any iGuide and start adding tags to it. How cool is that? Another thing that was added was the report notes save function. So when you send a report, you can add like custom notes to it. There's lots of different reasons why you might want to do that. But you can save a note as like a default note and it will there's a little checkbox there. When you click send, it will save it and it will keep it as your default, which is quite cool. There's a delivery time notification. So basically says that we have high volume. So yeah, we'll talk about delivery times. That's a good idea. It's a very good topic. It's important. So delivery times are, I'm sure a lot of you have noticed, always going to be the following day, right? That's kind of like our guarantee. So if you shoot it on a Wednesday, you're going to get it on a Thursday. The only exception is obviously if you submit it on a Saturday, you don't get it the Sunday, you get it the Monday. But delivery times can vary like wildly depending on volume. So that means that if you submit it, I don't know, at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday, you could get it at 2 a.m. on a Thursday. You could get it at 10 a.m. on a Thursday, or you might get it at 5 p.m. on the Thursday. And that kind of inconsistency is very frustrating for people when their expectations have not been properly set. So what I mean by that is that if you're talking with the client and they say, hey, when's my thing going to be ready? And you say, oh, it's ready right now. I'll send it over. And it's 9 a.m. Then they have an expectation that is the norm, right? Oh, cool. It's always going to be 9 a.m. I like this. And then the next time when it's at 2 p.m., they're going to call you and they're going to say, hey, I've been waiting all day. I'm really disappointed. So you want to avoid that at all costs. So a lot of you probably already know this, but I'll just give you the heads up so that you can avoid this issue if you haven't dealt with it before. You want to set the expectation that the Iguide is being, professionally drafted and is done when it's done. And every property is a little bit different, and there are different, volumes of drafting that need to be done. So that means that, just because you submitted it the day before doesn't mean you're going to get it at a specific set time the following day. I've never had anybody who is super upset about this. I mean, sometimes people want what they want like now, and you can't make those people happy anyway. I've had people ask me for the Iguide like while I was shooting it. And I'm like, well, I haven't finished shooting it yet. So, so no, but that's often because they just don't understand the process. So it really helps to educate essentially your clients. To tell them, to say, look, I'm going to send this data in, it's going to be professionally drafted, and then they're going to send it back when it's ready. And we don't want it back too soon. We want them to do a really, really good job, and for it to be really, really good and accurate. So, good things take time. And if you set that expectation that it could be any time during the day, it could be 7 p.m., but we will get it the following day. That is the promise. Then 10 a.m., 2 p.m., it's still a struggle because they want it when they want it, but at least you've got that to refer to. And that expectation can then get set ahead of time rather than after the fact, which is much harder. Okay, another thing in this technical update is the help desk flowchart. There is a link to it, and if you're having problems on site, you may have even already encountered a problem or two. When you call in, well, there's only a limited number of people who you can talk to, so if they just happen to just luck of the draw, all be busy, which isn't any fun, then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to, sort of try to figure things out on your own. And troubleshooting it's a process, right? Like it's not something where, people just randomly know the answer. When you call in to tech support, and I know this because I was tech support for years. So like the only tech support. So when you call in, what I would do is I would say like, okay, well, tell me the problem. Okay. And then I would just walk you through a series of steps. I'd say like, well, I want you to turn the camera off, turn it back on again. Okay. Restart your phone, start to finish. So you don't really need to talk to someone. Sometimes it's helpful because they can keep you from panicking. But if you have like the flow chart or your process, you can basically go through that process and you can figure it out on your own without making any phone calls. And sometimes it's faster to do that. Where did my document go? There we go. Okay. So so anyway, there's a new flow chart available through a link, and it's a KBA. That makes sense. Knowledge base article. In case you aren't familiar with that. How much time do we have? All right, we'll do maybe 1 or 2 more. So there were 2 in December, apparently, 2 technical updates. Let's have a look at the first one. What was it? Can you guys hear my kids thumping upstairs? They're like, oh, Dad's on a webinar. Let's make noise. Thanks, kids. Appreciate that. Technical update number 17. Add-on pricing change and duplicate private view. Oh, these are good ones. Okay, so starting January 1st, if you've just started with Iguide, you won't even know any of this, but Google Street View exporting, floor planner exporting, and advanced measurement all used to be like paid add-ons. So as of January 1st, they were just made free. They're just free. Freebies. How cool is that? And I think there might even still be a reference to that on the website. Like it says they're there on the pricing page, but then it says they're free or something like that. But anyway, those used to cost money. So, that's pretty neat. I'll explain what those are really quickly, just so you know. Google Street View export is when you shoot a property that's a public property, like a retail establishment, a restaurant, something that the public can go to, and then you export it to Google. So that involves, going out, capturing space, having it drafted, and then using the inbuilt tool in the Iguide portal to export it to Google. Floor planner export is also free. It's not free on floor planners' end. So if you want their advanced features, they're a business, they offer different services than Iguide, but you can export it to them for free and play around with their tools. And they're super fun because they allow you to do stuff that Iguide doesn't. So if you want to take your floor plan and change all the colors to weird colors and change the, label sizing, you can do anything. You can add walls, add rooms, whatever you like. My favorite feature by far, it's not the best implemented one, but I like it, is you can take an image and put it behind the floor plan. So you can, in like Photoshop, it's extra work. I wouldn't do this for like everybody, but you can draw like your site plan, you know, like your driveway and the yard and everything, and you can put it behind your floor plan, which makes it look super cool. And then advanced measurement was also made free. So advanced measurement, if you've never played with it, is in the measurement tool, you click on the little ruler in the Iguide, and this thing kind of pops up, this little mini menu, and there are numbers. And when you click on the number 1, you can choose from measure modes 1, 2, or 3. Measure mode 1 is where you draw on the floor plan. So you can measure, you know, things on the floor plan, rooms and walls and windows and such. Measure mode 2 is a more 3-dimensional style where you're measuring on the image, but you have to measure on a wall essentially. And then measure mode 3 is where you can measure using 2 panoramas for like triangulation. And that's for measuring things like on the floor, or on the ceiling, or wherever you want. So you can use all these advanced measurements for like ceiling heights or window sizes or all sorts of stuff. It's very cool. And then what else we have? Oh, duplicate private view. So you might not be familiar with private views, what that means, but the Iguide can be duplicated in a way that allows you to have a separate view for separate people. So I will give you an example. So last summer, we sold our house, my wife and I. And when we did that, I mean, we were like right in the height of COVID. I mean, it had kind of like slowed down a little because I think we listed in June, if I recall correctly. I don't even remember. It feels like an eternity ago. But people couldn't really get to the property, and they couldn't spend as much time in it as they wanted to. And also, it was a hot market. It was hot. We had like, oh my gosh, so many people in and out of that house. And they could only really spend like 15 minutes in there, you know? So what I did is I made a tour. I shot an Iguide of the house, and then I shot a second Iguide. I took that Iguide and copied it. I made a separate private view, and I turned everything on that you would normally hide. So on realtor.ca, you know, on the main listing, you would see like, you know, the main floor and the nice stuff. And then on the private view, I put like the gross haunted basement and, you know, all the things that I wouldn't want for marketing purposes. But then I know people want to see, like, a lot of buyers were coming from out of town, and like, it's not fair to them to only give them 15 minutes. I know that's what the market's like sometimes, but it just felt wrong. So I made that separate view, and that way they could see anything they wanted. And there's nothing to hide. I think transparency is important. So that was kind of neat. So you can use a private view to create a separate, essentially, view of an Iguide that looks different. You know, maybe it has different panoramas on and off, even different room labels, different photos. It can be anything you want it to be, really. So anyway, there was a special button added in December that says duplicate view. So you can take a view that you've configured, duplicate it, and then you won't have to readjust all the settings, which is kind of cool. So that means if you've made one, you've specifically configured one to look a certain way, and then you just want to have an exact copy of that, and then just make a couple little tweaks, you can just duplicate that one view and then make a few tweaks rather than have to copy the main version and do all the changes again. So that's quite clever. No, we did that. Tags, flowchart, Google Street View, advanced measurement. How much time we have? We'll do one more. So that was number 17. 19, 18, 17. We'll go back to 16. What was 16? That was also in December. So to my point earlier about how these aren't scheduled communications, they kind of go out when they're going to go out. And so in December, there were 2, apparently. December is a busy month. That's fair. So what have we got here? Oh, okay. So there was an update change to panorama update pricing. So when you are going to update an Iguide, you basically, it's funny. We talked about this earlier. You go out, you shoot what you need that's new. And then I'll put the link to the flowchart in the chat, Liz, if I can find it again. I forget what I was saying. Oh yeah, to do an update, sorry. You're gonna go out and shoot what you need that's new, and then you can submit that to the drafting team. So the prices were different before. They were I forget what it was. It wasn't per panel. It was like a certain amount up to 10, and then like 50% of the Iguide cost or something weird. So anyway, now it's been simplified. They're like, first 10 panos is like $15 US, and then each pano after that's like 75 cents, which is very simple and easy. So that's cool. there was an update to apparently the Iguide drafting standards and policies. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to that support area and have a look around. You're going to see there's a space for like documents, and one of those things in there is the Iguide drafting standard. So Iguides aren't made, without following a bunch of rules, and some of the rules are in that, so that's kind of cool. And then the last thing, super exciting. A decimal place reporting change was made. This is one of those things that's super dry, but if you care, you like really care. Most people are like, yeah, I don't need to know that. But there are certain things that are like a big deal for some people. And this was one of those things, if I recall correctly. All displayed floor areas are now rounded to 2 decimal places. Okay, that's cool. So if you're into precision, that's your thing. That's your jam. All right, let me find the flowchart. And I'll put the link in, and then I will answer the other question. Was that December maybe? Oh, I've already lost it. I'm going to guess it's technical update 17. No, I was wrong. Let me go check my quick reference. Add-on pricing change, Iguide tags, data loss, duplicate view, billable area change. I have no idea where it is. I've totally lost it. Okay, well, anyway, I'll find it later. Okay, question. Can you please send link to flowchart? Yes, I will try to do that before I leave today. Okay, is virtual staging done through Iguide as well, or just outsourced from other services? Okay, good question. Totally outsourced. So we don't do that. We just make it possible to do that. So there are 2 ways to do that. And it depends on what system you're using. If you have Planix, you can do a thing that you can't do with later with IMS5 earlier on. Okay, so virtual staging works like this. Virtual staging is where 360 virtual staging, sorry, for the panoramas. You take the images, you send them to a company like Box Brownie or any of the ones that are on our website, and you say, hey, I want you to stage this. And it's just like regular virtual staging. They're gonna say, okay, what do you want? Do you want Scandinavian furniture? They're gonna ask you a bunch of style questions. You say, okay, yes, this is what I want. And then what they're gonna do is they're gonna stage that pano. Where it gets a little bit weird is when you have multiple panoramas and they're linked. And this is highly prone to error. So Box Brownie can totally do it because they've done it for me, and it looks pretty good. I'll answer your question in a second, Ralph, but yes. So the virtual staging, I'll just finish that first. The virtual staging is, you can basically think of it like this. You send this company an image, they're gonna monkey about with it and add chairs and do whatever. And then they're gonna send it back to you. And your job is to take it and then update it on the Iguide user portal. So who you choose to use for that doesn't make any difference. Use whoever you want. You can even do it yourself if you're like good enough. I've never had any great luck editing 360s in things like Photoshop. It's totally doable. I have no idea how. There's some kind of secret sauce where they can like scale furniture and get things to look right. I think it's a lot of by eye kind of stuff. Like, I don't think it's like computer generated per se, but I don't know. I could totally be wrong. The cost is quite prohibitive for virtual staging when you think about it compared to regular virtual staging. So what I mean by that is if you're having an image virtually staged, like one photo, 20, 30 bucks, kind of depends on the company you choose. A 360 can be up to like 80 bucks, sometimes 60 to 80 zone. So that's nuts. But when you compare that to the cost of actually staging a property, it then becomes much more reasonable. So the problem with the 360s is that they're connected, right? So if I'm standing in a fully staged, virtually staged living room, and I look over at the kitchen, and when I look over there, they haven't, like, nothing's virtually staged, but then I go to the kitchen panorama and then it's all virtually staged, and I look at the living room and it's empty. It just looks weird and it breaks the immersion. So there you go, 60 bucks. Yeah. That's a good deal. 80 bucks feels high to me, but it's hard to not think out of your own pocket because it's really whatever your client wants to pay for, right? So that could be nothing for them. They might think, well, I pay a regular stager, hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So that might be nothing. Sorry, I got a phone call. Let me see. What was the other question here that I missed? Okay, so I'm going to say, we'll do that. Virtual staging. Yeah, we did that one. Okay, I only got 5 minutes left. I'm going to try to answer your question, Ralph. Okay, what are the updates in the future? Any changes to the viewer that become so that the moment from panel to panel becomes stopping to build up the next image? Oh, like the transition between panoramas? Yes. Okay, so I'll give you guys all the heads up. We're always working on improving like everything. So, and it's a lot. It's a big job. So there's a lot in this whole system. I'm sure you all know this already. You got your camera system, you have your post-processing software, you have the Iguide user portal, you have the whole online experience with the Iguide. So the answer is yes, 100% we're working on that. The viewer definitely needs some improvements here or there. The experience of moving through the property visually is definitely something that we're aware of. Every time it's built in the next image. Well, so it depends on who you ask. So some people prefer different ways of sort of like moving through a property. And what we've found is that based on user feedback, and you can never have enough user feedback, let's just say that. You know, because you start to generalize, but unfortunately, that's the only way you can really get an average and sort of make decisions. But most of the time, what people want is they want to get information about a property. So the experience is important, 100%, but first and foremost, it's about getting people accurate property information. Okay, and then after that's done, then we're going to worry about some of the flashier, sexier visuals. So what that means is that things like getting the floor plans perfect. There's some features coming. I can't tell you. I'm gagged, but there's some features coming that are really about getting that information, and they take precedence over the transitions from one panel to the next. Because what Matterport does is they use this thing where they have like 3D map data, and they make the transitions look really fancy, which is cool. They look awesome, I think. Actually, they kind of make me want to puke sometimes, but you know, they're cool looking, I'll say that. So that's more interesting than just a crossfade. That's kind of boring, right? But we've got a lot of stuff that sort of coming up that will make the experience better. And to your point, yes, sexier and cooler looking on the transitions, hopefully. But then there's a lot of things that are coming there about kind of getting people that core experience, that getting property information they want so they can make a decision whether or not to buy the home. And then also obviously accurately marketing a home. Like you've got people who are trying to sell a property like a real estate professional, and they're like, you know, they're using this as a tool. They're saying like, look, I want you to go to this location and look here, and using virtual showings is a good example. Okay, that's it. I only have about a minute left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it there, and then I'm going to find the link for the flowchart, if at all possible. There was a couple things I want to mention while I hunt around for the flowchart. First off, if you haven't subscribed to our Iguide YouTube channel, please do so. So that would mean that you would go to, found it, technical update 18. That would mean you go to YouTube, search for Iguide, and then hit subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I will be forever grateful. There you go, copy link address. I'm just gonna put it in here. There you go. There's the link to the flowchart. So we need more subscribers on our YouTube channel. So please go subscribe. I'd appreciate it. The other thing is that if you're new and you're not familiar with our support system, don't forget we have a support desk that's full of knowledge base articles, and there's tons of information in there. It's the technical updates are like news bulletins. The knowledge base articles are like everything. It's meant to cover literally everything. So if you've gone through training and you're thinking to yourself, I kind of have questions, just go in there and look around. It's cool. There's tons of stuff that explains everything. It's awesome. And let me check my notes and we'll see if there's anything I missed. Q&R webinars on Wednesday. If you didn't know that, they're awesome. You can ask whatever questions you want. Sam runs them. He's cool. There will be another webinar, another masterclass next Thursday. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I'm sure it will be amazing. And I think that's it. Yeah, we're good. Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. Really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend.